Marcus Calpurnius Bibulus, often referred to as the Jeb Bush of ancient Rome, Bibulus was a politician whose entire career has been overshadowed by Julius Caesar. And now sans SpongeBob when you Google him for some reason? Our story begins in ancient Rome. The year is 59 BC. Consulship elections are just around the corner, and a growing faction of ambitious populists have gained favor with the citizens of Rome. If they can secure both consulship positions, they'll have complete control over the Senate. But conservatives see through their antics. They're leveraging the people to usurp the Senate and must be stopped. If they don't, these radicals could put an end to hundreds of years worth of tradition. To prevent this, conservatives bribed the elections, electing Bibulus as co-consul to none other than Gaius Julius Caesar. Now, Caesar and Bibulus go way back. They've had a one-sided rivalry for years. Bibulus had one triumph, Caesar had four. Bibulus lost his nose, Caesar kept his. Bibulus had a wife, well, Caesar boned Cleopatra. So when Bibulus became the co-consul, it was a pretty big deal. He finally had the chance to step outside of Caesar's shadow and show him who's boss. But that quickly diminished when Caesar kicked off his term by presenting a progressive bill that would grant many soldiers some well-deserved farmland. Bibulus immediately vetoed it.
Do you realize if the citizens of Rome see that you vetoed that bill in the damn Senate, they could condemn your position?
I'm working on it!
Caesar wasn't going to let some little veto get in his way. If he could just show the people his proposition, everyone would be on board with it, and everyone would hate Bibulus for blocking it in the first place. So that's precisely what he did. He went to the Century Assembly and pinned up his proposition for everyone to see.
Damn!
This pisses Bibulus off. Why should soldiers and citizens need to know what's going on in the Senate? The day of the vote rolls around and Bibulus once again tries blocking it, claiming that his veto makes the bill illegal. Caesar responds saying that the room is too loud and he can't hear him yapping. The crowd is infuriated with Bibulus and rushed him down, knocking him to the floor. And then someone pulls out their gamer bucket. A bucket of feces comes toppling over his head. He's enraged. Bibulus wipes the shit away and demands that Caesar be executed. But that wouldn't happen for at least another decade. Senators escort the consul away and calm him down. The bill passes and Bibulus is the laughingstock of Rome. He became so hated that he couldn't even leave his private domicile without being harassed. Caesar practically became the sole consul that day because Bibulus stopped showing up to any of the meetings. It got to the point that people said that the consuls were now Julius and Caesar. Once again, Bibulus was outmaneuvered by his lifelong rival and his mental health began deteriorating. At the end of the year, Bibulus comes out of his home to give his closing remarks. Caesar passes the stand to his colleague who delivers a fantastic speech. Okay guys, this is my impression of Gilbert Gottfried talking at his own funeral.
We are gathered here today to honor the memory of...
Ironically, the tribune of the plebs used his veto to block Bibulus from giving his speech. I really wish his story ended here, but it gets way worse. His two sons get murdered, and this sends him in a downward spiral and explains his future erratic behavior. Years go by, and Caesar declares war against the Senate. Bibulus aligns himself with the state, and Pompey sends him to the Adriatic where he is to command the navy. He is given one task: block Caesar. So Bibulus waits, and waits, and waits. Winter is coming and Caesar still isn't here. Soon the Adriatic will be too dangerous to defend, let alone navigate. Not wanting to lose his ships, Bibulus recalls his fleet for the winter, but it actually isn't winter, and Caesar knows this. He had been in charge of keeping the calendar aligned with the seasons, but intentionally neglected his responsibility. With the Adriatic uncontested, Caesar moves his legions across the sea, right under Bibulus's non-existent nose. This crushes him. He immediately sends his navy back out to intercept any lingering ships. They manage to round up about 30 being manned by skeleton crews. Bibulus has them burned down along with their crews. If he can't hurt Caesar, he'll hurt the people close to him. He was now the undisputed master of the Adriatic, but he blundered his victory. Pompey had instructed him to defend. He had failed once, now he would defend everything in sight. He spread his fleet way too thin, having his ships occupy any potential landing spots. His mental health continues to spiral out of control while his rage escalates, and his men have noticed. Their captain sleeps restlessly on his ship even though it's winter. He refuses any assistance, yet takes on more responsibilities. They know it's unsustainable. Before winter ended, Bibulus had succumbed to sickness and stress, but had lived just long enough to hear about Caesar's victory over Pompey, which invalidated all of his work. I think that Bibulus's tomb perfectly encapsulates his legacy, overshadowed by greatness. Well, that was depressing. Thanks for joining me in the Goon Cave yet again, and I'll see you guys around.